gifts down to 25. To make no gifts, that means the Tribune, I'm sure they have a hired lobbyist, maybe not, maybe they go through the newspaper association. They can't put Tribunes on their desk every morning, or the Desert News can't put Desert News on its desk. I'm not going out and buy them, but we have them sitting on our desk every morning. So I think this gift issue ought to be fully disclosed, down to 1 penny. If a lobbyist or a lobbyist knows for your benefit that it's being paid for, then at that point in time it ought to be reported. And if people see all of that and don't like that, and I think if a gift is given to everybody, if UEA invites all of us to a lunch or a dinner, then why list all of that information if everybody's invited? If you're really going to get after the impact it has. So as I look at this, and the other thing, it says a personal interest. It defines partisan politics. I can't do this in a public building. So Smithfield City invites me to go up and talk about an issue. And I go up, they're angry because they had water committed to them, or money committed to them for a new sewer system up in Smithfield. They called me and they said, they just canceled our contract, don't have the money. So I called down to people in Salt Lake, and I said, what's going on? You know, they called me back a little later and said, well, we're sorry, it should have been done, it's now paid. I did that for personal partisan benefit. I want to be reelected. I want Smithfield reelected. So I violated a conflict of interest by having a personal election in that, the way you brought it. And it goes insiders to my cousins, my wife's cousins. My wife has 14 uncles and aunts. Uncles and aunts, so double that with the married ones. And I don't know what some cousins even do. And you get me down to the point that if they work for a company with a lobbyist, for example, Zions Bank, and they have any control in it, and favors it's so broad. Now, let me tell you the other story, for what makes me concerned.
Your 2 minutes are up, but that's okay. Are we okay?
Thank you.
I'm okay.
I'm okay. I'll tell you the other one. I'll never forget, it was a Sunday night, just before the session started, and I was home. I do not like to be called on Sunday night. I mean, that's the only time in the whole week I really have for my family. It's an emergency, I'll gladly take. This phone call came, and the man on the other phone really berated me. I mean, he was not unkind at all in what he had to say about me, because I had voted to allow undocumented aliens and high school kids to go to college as resident tuitions. And that was absolutely terrible, because these people were here illegally, and I was supporting illegal activities, and under my oath of the Constitution, I owed it to those people not to give them any benefits to kick them out. But was that the only thing? I was told by several of the state delegates who elect me, this is 2004, that they were called before the filing deadline by somebody who said basically, would you vote for Lyle Hilliard when you know he supports illegal aliens? I mean, these people put some effort into this. And then somebody said, there's a sign down by Smith and Edwards. There's a great big sign up as you drove by it that said, don't vote for Lyle Hilliard because he supports illegal aliens. Now, you think this is any three people can file a complaint. Well, if they'll hire people to do telephone calls, and if they'll put up that in signs, you better believe they're going to file a complaint against me because I violated my oath to the Utah Constitution, because I voted to allow illegals to go to college as residents. Now, you may agree or disagree. I defend that position. I think it's a good position to take, and I'll defend it. And I go through the election process, and my people seem to support it too. But they filed a complaint. And I just, as you mentioned that, Alan, I took a look again. And I'll tell you how you ought to word this, if it's really what you want to do. You say any three persons may file a complaint against the legislature alleging a violation, blah, blah, blah. A legislator may not be charged with misconduct, I don't know if we got misconduct defined, which occurred over 6 years prior to the date which the complaint is filed. So somebody can file a complaint against me and said 4 years ago I violated these standards of misconduct. And I say, wait a minute, I didn't know they were standards. Well, they are now. We've got to be here. There's no definition or tying back to that. This says they'll be kept confidential. There's absolutely no penalty if somebody violates the confidentiality. None. So these three people can file a complaint and then go down to the Herald Journal or to any place and say, guess what? Lyle Hilliard's a crook. He violated this. And I filed a complaint with the Ethics Committee. It gets printed in the Herald Journal. I go to the Herald Journal and they say, wait a minute, we have confidential sources. We can't disclose who said any of that to us. So now it gets out in the news and I say, let's have a hearing. Because you read it further, it says, within 30 days after filing a complaint, the executive director shall deliver a copy of the complaint to all members of the commission and the legislator, and shall begin to investigate the affairments with a view to determine whether it's not. And further this investigation contemplated, the executive director may issue subpoenas for production of documents and testimony, and then this is what bothers me. The persons who filed the complaint may participate fully in the development of evidence during the investigative process, and the executive director, upon request of the complainants, shall issue. Now, if you're going to say what you're saying, I should say may issue subpoenas if they find it necessary. But it says shall issue subpoenas as may be necessary to facilitate participation. I can guarantee you, those people who think I'm anti the Constitution because I think illegal documents, and that's the condition I would go. All costs we board by the commission, the subpoenas, and then it says the accused legislator may participate informally, but shall have no formal rights of participation. And it says that if a formal complaint is filed, the complainants can continue to investigate the subject matter of complaints is provided, so they can continue to subpoena and do things. Now say they decide, well, we can't get him on illegal evidence. We'll get him on some of it. We're going to allege that he's getting money from Science Bank. They make a claim. And then now they want to subpoena all my office records to show whether maybe they'll claim that we've got clients in our office who pay fees. Well, I have to report it's about $10,000. But what if they've got 30 Hispanics who are paying $5,000 each? Now, they go to my records and say, am I getting paid by the Hispanic community because I voted for that bill? I mean, I can tell you, as I talked to my law partner about this, they said life is tough enough. You know, we have people who hate you because you don't fund education enough. We have people who don't like this and that and all this. If we now have to open our books to that, it's just not worth the price. And you say, well, I'm dishonest then. Honest people will take this. Let me tell you, I have tried long and hard to recruit people to run for the legislature, and the most common thing I hear is, do you think I'm crazy to get down there and take all that guff you take and all that stuff, and be gone from your family for that little pay and all of that? Well, let me talk about the attorney fees.
I think I think your time is, I tried to hold myself, I know Alan, we went over. Do we have anyone else who'd like to speak, and then we can come back? I'm not sure how the protocol, is someone to answer the senator's concerns, or would you like to take a minute, Alan? Then
I want to answer the questions. I think we should have a protocol, though. Protocol is that when you present your side, the other side has an opportunity to present its, which is not being afforded.
The way I understand the law, and I'm just reading emails, we're conducting the meeting, UEG is conducting the meeting, and we establish the parameters of the meeting, and 2 minutes for question and answers. We're so small in number, we can go back around. That's, I was sort of manipulated to do this. I don't know who you are. Would you like to tell us who you are?
I've been very unstable.
Okay, yeah, you're from Buckfield County. All right, anyway, I'm Stuart Howell from Logan High. Anyway, I wish I were in Star Valley right now. But yeah, I was told that one of the concerns is that someone comes and monopolizes all the time, and I certainly don't want to. I don't want to infringe upon anyone's right to speak. So, Alan, would you like to respond, and then Senator Ferry, you can go ahead, and we'll go from there.
Two things, actually. I'm glad to hear you were instrumental in reforming the initiative process. What I'd like to see when you go back again, and this is just a footnote, let proponents file their initiative, then hold the hearings and get feedback, and from the good feedback that they get from all you good people who come to these things, allow an amendment before it goes final. Now the way the law is written, you have to file it and you can't change it, even though you get good comments at these public hearings. Let the public hearings count so that you can amend what you drafted and then put it in final form before you get it. That's an initial comment. It's off point, but
if I may answer that, the contemplation was that you would file them so people have the documents to see what you're doing, have your meetings, if you decide to change it, and you just create humans and file them and vote.
okay.
That was it.
I understand. I just want to say on the illegal immigrant thing, if those people file a complaint against you, I will represent you free of charge